What you see here on the table are a pair of Hex Armor bite-proof gloves. Supposedly, these can withstand the bite of a venomous snake. What I'm gonna do is slowly move my hand in towards the snake's nose. Let's just see what the aggression level is as I move my hand in toward its face. Okay, it's a beautiful night in Costa Rica, and I'm sitting next to one of the most iconic snake species in this country. That is an eyelash viper. Now, we've worked with this species in the past. In fact, I found the yellow phase of this snake out in the wild several years ago. But this one here is actually ambassador for its species that was born and raised in captivity. This snake specifically is used to help educate people about the snakes that live here in Central America and why you want to safely avoid them at all cost. Now, this snake is not necessarily as toxic as something like a fer-de-lance, which makes it the perfect subject matter for tonight. What you see here on the table are a pair of Hex Armor bite-proof gloves. Supposedly, these can withstand the bite of a venomous snake. Now, obviously, I wouldn't try this with something as large as like a Western Diamondback, an Eastern Diamondback, or a fer-de-lance, but the Eyelash Viper has smaller fangs, and I feel a little bit safer free-handling that snake with these gloves. We'll get to that risky entertainment in just a few moments, but first what I want to do is take an educational look at this incredible reptile. Now, the eyelash viper is an arboreal species, which means they're primarily found up in trees. And as you see the snake right here, gently clutched on this branch, it almost looks as if it's a gargoyle, staying completely still. And this is usually exactly how you will see these snakes out in the wild, waiting in ambush. They are ambush predators, and all they need to do is hang from a tree branch and wait for something to come close. They primarily feast upon animals that are going to be up in the treetops. Lizards, frogs, bats, even birds fall victim to snakes like this. And you see that position the snake's in right now? That S-curled shape, head pointing down, something gets close, it strikes out, and with those hinged fangs, injects a hemotoxic venom. Now, what's unique about the eyelash vipers as compared to many other pit viper species is that when they bite, they actually lock on. When you think of something like a fer-de-lance, it's gonna strike out, inflict a bite, let go, and then track its prey once it has succumbed to the venom. But with a snake like this that lives up in the trees, it needs to bite and hold on. If this guy bites a bat and that bat falls out of the tree, the snake's gotta go all the way down to the ground to get it. So this snake wants to bite, hold on, and then it's got its chance for a meal. The name eyelash viper, where does that name come from? If you take a real close look at the face of this snake, you'll see two little modified scales growing just above the eyes. Sort of makes it look like horns, or in this case, a pair of eyelashes. Now, scientists believe that these modified scales perhaps help them navigate through the arboreal environment, maybe pushing away plant matter, or possibly to help keep them camouflaged. These snakes are incredibly good at keeping themselves hidden within the environment. Now, if you're to go out into the Costa Rican rainforest at night, the thing that's actually dangerous is that if somebody grabs onto a branch, let's say you're moving through the environment and you grip onto something, helping yourself navigate, if one of these snakes is in the tree, that's how you're accidentally bitten. These snakes are not necessarily going to ever be aggressive towards humans unless threatened. However, if you were to unfortunately be bitten, it is a hemotoxic venom, and that means medical emergency. Now, you guys clicked on this video because the thumbnail likely has this snake close to my hand. It's like, oh my gosh, is Coyote going to get bitten by a venomous snake tonight? I'm not attempting to provoke a bite from this snake. The reason that I'm going to try to handle this snake with bite-proof gloves is because it's a fragile species, right? A snake of this size is rather delicate. It's not something that you want to squeeze and hold on to. You don't want to pin its head. You don't want to have complete control of the snake. The idea is that if I can hold it gently with these gloves, it may be a tactic that we use in the future to handle small venomous snakes. Coral snakes, sidewinders, eyelash vipers, these are perfect subject matters for using these bite-proof gloves. I also have to be aware of how close this snake gets to my face, so keeping it out in front of me like this is extremely important. Remember, they've got a rather far reach, and a snake like this can lunge forward nearly 2/3 the length of its body. If I'm bitten in the face by a snake like this, it's going to be a very bad end to my day. It takes a little bit of nerves when you start thinking about handling a venomous snake. And while in the past I've interacted with many different venomous species, to actually be hands-on with one without controlling its head is something that I have not attempted before. So if you're ready, it's time to free handle the Eyelash Viper. What I'm hoping is that I will be able to get it to just kind of come right out onto my hand. So you see that? The snake is backing its head up ever so slightly. Now that position right there definitely could warrant a bite. But you'll notice this snake is not aggressive in any way whatsoever. It's sensing my hand. Now you see the tongue flicking out. It's investigating me, saying, okay, this is something new in my environment, but it doesn't look like something that I would necessarily want to eat. So I'm going to gently see if I can bring it up. Oh, there we go. Let's see if I can get you to come out here onto my hand. There we go. There we go. Okay, this is going really well so far. Really, really well. There we go. And I just want to make sure that I'm not constraining the snake too much. There we go. Oh, I'm going to keep you right there. That's perfect. I'm very happy about that position. Now, if I just keep my hand like this, you see how it's causing the snake to balance itself into a curled position. That is absolutely perfect. Now on camera, it's tough to tell exactly how close that snake is to my face. It probably looks closer than it really is, so I don't want any of you to think, Coyote, you've got that pit viper way too close to you. Trust me guys, it would take a huge jump for it to be able to leap out and get me in the face at this point. It's also why I'm keeping my hand slightly here blocked just in case something crazy happens. But if I turn it like this, you can really get a great look at that snake's profile. They are just so incredibly beautiful. And like all pit vipers, they have a heat-seeking pit, and this snake is capable of sensing all sorts of different heat registers. So if this snake spots something like a lizard, this snake is using its incredible eyesight to be able to identify animals that do not have warm blood. Notice the vertical pupil. That expands and contracts based on the amount of light in the environment, which helps them to see incredibly well at night. And for anybody that's afraid of snakes, the fear, which is called ophidiophobia, you can see that this is not something that is aggressive toward humans. You may be saying to yourselves, well, Coyote, you said that this snake was born and raised in captivity. Doesn't make a difference, guys. It's behaving the exact same way that one of these snakes would in the wild. If you're not swinging your hand in front of it, if you're not poking at it with a stick, if you're simply admiring it from a safe distance, it will be a great experience. That's probably also a great spot for me to give you guys that stereotypical warning where I say never go out into the environment and try to handle a snake. Now the people that use these Hex Armor gloves are typically professionals. Anything could happen here. I could be bitten. While I do trust the gloves, I would never want you guys to be in a position where you could accidentally receive a bite from a snake like this. Like I said earlier, the reason that I'm using these bite-proof gloves tonight is to test out whether or not free handling smaller venomous snakes like this is a good tactic for us moving forward. So if I were to physically grab onto the snake or pin its head down with a snake hook or hold it with snake tongs, puts a lot of stress on the animal. You can see how calm it's being right now. And this is an awesome way for us to be able to get these animals up close for the cameras without putting a lot of stress on them. I'm gonna try a little experiment here. What I'm gonna do is slowly move my hand in towards the snake's nose. Not to necessarily provoke a strike, but let's just see what the aggression level is as I move my hand in toward its face. Very slowly. Look at that. Snake just basically stays in gargoyle mode. Yep, I bopped you on the nose just a tiny bit there. You can see it's kind of curled its head back in a little bit of a strike pose, saying, okay, you got close, let's not push it too much further than that, and I won't, but that's exactly what I wanted to try to determine. Is this snake feeling completely calm because it's not restrained? It has no reason to strike out and try to bite me. Wow, what a cool experiment this was tonight. Determining that using bite-proof gloves is a great way to interact with smaller venomous snakes. It's allowed me to stay calm, the snake has stayed calm, and we've gotten a really cool Central American species up close for the cameras. The one and only Eyelash Viper. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. All right, I'm gonna place you back up on your tree branch. Sound good? As the sun breaks through the clouds and shines down upon my face, there are two things on my mind. The first is that Alaska is absolutely breathtaking. The second is that in just a couple minutes, I will be pinched by a giant Dungeness crab. Wait, what? Yep, you heard me right. Pinched by a giant crab. Today we are in Haines, Alaska, and our first stop is the dock. So if you want to get pinched by a Dungeness crab, you gotta have the crab first. And I can't dive down to the bottom of the ocean to catch one, so today we're heading to the harbor so I can buy one. Dungeness crabs live in deep water and are usually caught using crab pots. So for us to make this episode work, we actually have to buy a crab.
Got one.
Well, there you go. That looks like it'll do the trick right there. That's a pretty big set of pinchers. I think we all know what's gonna happen next. The good news for the crab, who I have endearingly named Roscoe, is that after I am pinched, he is going to be released back into the wild. All right, well, I've got my crab. Now we're just gonna take it to a good spot that we can film me getting pinched. You know, the entire time I was hoping that this fisherman would never come back with these crabs. Now we have one. And my pointer finger is gonna feel the power of that claw pinch. I'm honestly pretty nervous right now it's gonna break my finger. They have these huge teeth-looking nodules on their claws. I didn't know they had those until I saw them. Kind of having second thoughts about this. Dwelling primarily in eelgrass beds, the Dungeness crab gets its name from the town of Dungeness, Washington. It's one of the largest crab species in this region and is armed with a set of powerful claws that would even make a lobster jealous. I know what you were thinking. Coyote, why are you going to do this? And the answer is simple. To find out just how powerful these crabs really are, can they break a human finger? We're about to find out.
All right, Coyote, so does the crab seem bigger in person? Is it as big as you thought it would be?
Yeah. Actually, I've never really seen a full-grown Dungeness crab. I did picture something a bit smaller in my head. He's down there in the water right now. We just have water flowing through his gills. We're actually allowing him to power up, if I dare say power up, to make this pinch a little more extreme. Grumpy old Roscoe getting ready to do a number on my pointer finger. Oh boy, this is gonna be bad. The pinch of any crab species has the potential to be very painful. And if the crab, like this one, is big enough, there is a chance it could actually break a finger. This is it. This is for science. Here we go. Bringing it up. Oh boy, he looks grumpy. In the past, I've been pinched by several species of crab. Remember the purple shore crab? That one hurt. You look at this crab and you're probably thinking to yourself, Coyote, that one's like 10 times the size. Yeah, it is. And take a look at those claws. They are armed with little serrated teeth. Now what I'm gonna do today is put my pointer finger into one of those claws to see just how powerful that pinch really is. I have a feeling that this is going to hurt. As long as it doesn't break my finger, I'm going to let this crab pinch me for 60 seconds. Never attempt to replicate what you are about to witness. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the pinch zone with the Dungeness crab. Ready?
Let's do it.
1, 2, here we go. 3. Ah! Oh! Oh, wow, that's pretty bad. Can you see that? Oh, he's got my whole finger locked in there. Oh, it's like right on the joint. Oh my gosh, the teeth are definitely just digging into my finger. Ah! Oh my gosh. Ah! Oh my gosh, that hurts so much more than I thought it was going to. Ah! These crabs actually use their pinchers for defense and also to catch their food. Oh, hold on, absorb the pain. Oh, I gotta try to get my finger out, man. It's crushing my finger. Hold on, I'm putting it down the rock. Come on, my God. Oh, that hurt. Man, look at all those dents. Oh, that hurt. That was like having your finger in a new set of vice grips. Man.
was worth it for science. Holy cow, I'm actually a little nervous that he may have like stress fractured the bone. Look at my finger, you see the crush marks? It's actually the pinches of the teeth that I think hurt the worst, because I could feel those digging down into the bone. Oh, man, Roscoe, woo, you little bugger. Wow, well, I can now say without a doubt that the pinch of the Dungeness crab,
wow, that's pretty bad,
is by far the worst I've ever experienced. I can only imagine how bad the pinch is gonna be from a Maine lobster. I'm Coyote Peterson, be brave, stay wild, we'll see you on the next adventure. All right, Roscoe, let's get you back off into the ocean.
As I placed Roscoe into the murky ocean waters, I am pretty sure that I saw a little smile on his face just before he disappeared into the unknown.
Cool, well there he goes. Roscoe is back off into the ocean, and I still have my finger. Awesome.
As for my finger, it was sore for a week, but completely free of any real damage. As the tide recedes on the Pacific edge of Costa Rica, our journey beyond the tide begins. Climbing over the washed up skeletons of trees, my feet hit the water and splashed through the shallow remains of the ocean. My eyes keenly locked into every shadowy pool, and my mind racing with excitement at the thought of the creatures I may stumble upon. You never know what you will find in a tide pool, and that is what makes them a mystery. Today we are exploring Mogo's Beach, located on the Gulf of Dulce on the Osa Peninsula.
Okay, we have now landed on Mogo's Beach. Let's head up the shoreline here and see what sort of cool creatures we can find.
This remote location can only be reached by boat and is very rarely explored by humans. However, we have been given special permission to walk its shoreline where we will search for tide pool residents.
Coyote, so you want to tell us what's going on with this net?
Yeah, I guess you guys aren't used to seeing me work with a net. That's because in an ocean tide pool, you never know what you're going to come across. And some of these little creatures could be poisonous or venomous. And if you have to catch something really quick, it's easier to scoop it up with a net, get it in a controlled situation to analyze it, determine what it is before you actually get hands-on. Worst thing that you can possibly do is get bitten or stung by something that can kill you.
The crystal clear waters were swimming with fish, and the surrounding rocks were crawling with hermit crabs. Right away we were seeing all sorts of creatures, including a baby pufferfish.
Look at that, I've just got him cupped in my hand right now. Can you see that? Yeah. Look at his little fins going.
And one slippery little octopus.
That is so creepy feeling.
Tide pools are the perfect place to come across small ocean animals that have become stranded when the tide goes out. However, navigating the remaining slippery rocks as a human is rather difficult.
Well, this beach sure is making it difficult. This terrain is full of all kinds of these huge rocks. It's what I call an ankle breaker right there. Let's keep moving up this direction and hopefully come across some terrain that's a little bit easier to navigate.
As we made our way north along the craggy terrain, we went up and over a large rock formation. This is where we encountered one of the rarest animals you will ever find in a tide pool.
Watch your footing, this is really slippery. Oh cool, check this out, we got a little cove. This could be a perfect spot to find creatures. Come on up.
Ooh, slippery.
You good? Yeah, watch your footing.
Oh, thank you.
All right, going down in there. Oh, there's an eel!
Where?
Right there, right there, right there! I got it!
Nice.
No, it's a sea snake!
Yeah.
Got it, look at that! Woo!
Dude, oh, you all right?
Jeez, yeah, I'm okay, I'm okay. Obviously, it's pretty slippery, but look at that!
Whoa.
Holy cow! That is a yellow-bellied sea snake. All right, be careful because they are incredibly venomous. Hold on, let me get him out of the net.
Whoa, careful.
Okay, I got him.
Nice.
Come here, buddy. Wow.
Whoa.
Okay. Oh, he's trying to bite me. All right, I got him. There we go. Wow, look at that. I see all those little tiny teeth in there. This snake is incredibly venomous, so I need to be as careful as possible. And wow, it feels like a fishing lure. How cool is that? These guys are usually far out at sea. He was just in this little cove here. Must have gotten stuck when the tide was going out. All right, let's take him back up over the top of the rocks here onto the beach and get a closer look. Oh man, this is so cool.
I cannot believe you caught that sea snake.
Woo! All right, watch your footing headed back here. Let's go up here onto the sand. Check this out. That is the yellow phase of the yellow-bellied sea snake. Hold on, I gotta get him out of there. Come here, buddy. Now, normally you wouldn't find a snake like this so close to shore. I'm suspecting that because it's low tide right now, he got marooned in that tide pool. Normally you'd find them about 200 to 300 yards out into the ocean. I have never held a sea snake before. This is so cool. Now, you'll notice the shape of this snake's body is very flattened. Can you see that? And the tail almost looks like an oar. This allows them to easily move through the water. If I were to just put this snake down on the shore right here, they are not adapted to land. He would kind of just lay there and be like, I'm a dead snake. But out in the ocean, this guy is quick and stealthy. Now, they are not aggressive, but I can't take my attention away from my fingers being gently positioned behind its neck here. One bite from this snake, with as far away as we are from civilization, and I would be in some serious trouble.
What would happen to you?
I could potentially die, depending on how my body reacted. There's no question about it, this is the most lethal snake species I have ever handled. Now, these snakes are piscivores, which means that they hunt for fish. They have an incredibly potent neurotoxin. All it needs to do is tag a fish with the small fixed fangs inside of its mouth, and immediately the fish becomes paralyzed, and then the snake is capable of having its meal. Now, one interesting fact that you may not know is that the sea snake has an incredibly large lung that runs along the left side of its body. This allows these snakes to hold their breath for a long time when they're underwater hunting. It also works like the bladder of a submarine, allowing these snakes to become buoyant, and they will float all the way up to the surface. Finding a sea snake near shore is incredibly rare, and this one was likely stranded. So we decided to release it further out in the ocean to ensure that it found a safe return to the wild. Well, how epic was that? Getting up close with the yellow-bellied sea snake on our first episode of Beyond the Tide. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. These reptiles are a fragile part of the ecosystem that can be greatly affected by changing weather patterns. To swim alongside one in its natural environment was incredible, and I hope their species will continue to thrive beneath the ocean's surface so that future animal enthusiasts like myself can appreciate just how beautiful these snakes truly are. On this episode of Coyote's Backyard, I am taking YouTube sensations Gabe and Garrett into the towering redwood forests of California. These brothers are used to big adventures in front of the camera, as some of their most successful videos have racked up hundreds of millions of views. However, today isn't going to be their average walk in the park, as my goal was to get them up close with some of the forest's coolest animals. Okay, well, we have made it to the creek. Now we're gonna head upstream, so let's head that direction and see what we can find. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go! The first goal was to lead them off trail so they could literally get their feet wet. Look at that. I can't even get them to stop. They were straight into the water and ready to look. All right, we're gonna find some cool stuff. Let's get moving. One of the biggest parts of being an adventurer is getting comfortable in the environment. It's important to be smart and safe, but you also need to remember that being brave can give you some incredible experiences. Our first encounter came in the form of one incredibly friendly, yet extremely toxic animal, the California newt. Oh wow, there we go guys. All right, everybody grab one. Everybody grab one, I'll get this guy up here. Have you guys ever held a newt before?
No.
Now what do you think? Is this a reptile or an amphibian?
Amphibian.
Amphibian, that's right. All right guys, now when I hold this newt up and we look at its belly, what color is it?
Orange.
That's right, it's orange because this is a warning sign to predators that they're extremely poisonous. So what we want to make sure is that we don't eat these newts, and after we handle them, that we wash our hands. From newts To millipedes, the forest was crawling with creatures. And as we headed upstream, it wasn't long before we came across our second feature creature of the day. It was a signal crayfish.
All right, guys, I'm gonna wade into this pool and see if I can get this crayfish for us.
These crustaceans can give a pretty nasty pinch, so it was going to be on me to wrangle this one.
Holy mackerel. Look at that, guys.
Whoa.
Oh, look at those pinchers.
Scorpion.
It does look a little bit like a scorpion, doesn't it?
The signal crayfish gets its name because when threatened, they hold their pinchers up in the air to display the bright red underside. This coloration acts as a signal to predators that you better stay back or you are going to get pinched.
Ooh. Ah. Yep. Ooh, that's a good pinch right there.
Clearly, I wasn't getting that message.
Yikes. Okay, now go ahead and try to hold him from the back when he's not actually pinching me. Squeeze under his back there like that. There you go, you got him? All right, you're holding a crayfish. That's a big one too.
I was incredibly proud of the boys. To handle a crayfish of this size was a great feat of bravery.
Watch this, guys. Watch how he disappears backwards. He should go pretty quick. Whoa.
Whoa.
Pretty awesome, huh? You guys are so brave. Holding crayfish. Let's keep going. Now, I brought something here for us. What are those?
Bananas.
This next creature looks exactly like a banana. It's called a banana slug. I'm gonna give each one of you a banana to carry, and we're gonna try to find a slug that's as big as a banana. You think you can do that?
Yeah.
All right, let's start searching.
If you have ever explored in the redwood forests, you are probably aware of how many banana slugs slink along the trails.
Here's a big one. Pretty close. Wow, that one's a monster.
Wow.
Man, I think your slug is definitely bigger than my slug.
And it was only a matter of minutes before we all had our hands on one.
All right, we have 3 pretty good looking slugs. Let's take them over here and get an up close look. All right, guys, now look at the front of your slug. You see those tentacles coming out of the front?
Yeah.
Those are the eye stalks, and that allows them to see light and movement. Now, when you guys found these slugs and you picked them up, what did they feel like?
Super sticky.
They are super sticky. It feels like someone sneezed in your hand, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Totally gross. Now, if you look at the side of the slug, do you see that hole right there?
Yeah.
That's called a neostome, and that is actually where the slug's lung is. So look into that hole, and you see in there?
Yeah.
You're looking at the slug's lung, and that's how the slug is breathing. That's pretty cool, huh?
This thing is wild.
Out of all the animals that we have here in the redwood forest, I would definitely say that the banana slug has truly earned its name, considering the fact that it looks just like a banana.
Handling a single banana slug is impressive, but I felt it was time to see just how brave these kids really were.
All right, guys, now that we've learned a little bit about the California banana slug, we're gonna do something that I like to call the slug challenge. We're gonna roll up our sleeves, head down trail, and see if we can get our arms absolutely covered in these slimy little creatures. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, let's go.
Nothing beats a little friendly competition between brothers. And as they began to collect slugs, Gabe and Garrett were having a blast. It was complete slug pandemonium. When I finally wrangled the boys back in, it was clear that they took this challenge seriously, as their arms were literally crawling with slugs.
All right, come on in here. Let's show them how many we got. That is a lot of banana slugs right there. You guys are absolutely covered. I think you guys topped me on the slug challenge, that's for sure.
Getting to spend the day hiking the redwood forest with Gabe and Garrett was wet, muddy, and sticky. And I can't wait until the next time I head back to the West Coast so that we can do it all again.
I'm Coyote Peterson.
Be brave. Stay wild.
We'll see you on the next adventure.
Over the years, we have featured a plethora of frog species. Some of them were tiny and poisonous. Some of them jumped on my face. Some of them were giant and screamy.
There it is, the famous sound that they make. Wow!
And some of them were even semi-transparent. The point is that I was able to safely catch and successfully get them up close for the cameras so we could learn about what makes them so unique. But what if I told you that there was a frog that was impossible to catch and was also blue? Hold up. A blue frog? Yes, you heard me right. A blue frog. This encounter happened on the island of Middle Bass, located in Lake Erie. The following series of events will play out in chronological order. Prepare yourselves, because you are about to witness the unbelievable.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Dude, that is a blue frog. Look at that frog.
Where?
Right there. Oh my gosh, we gotta catch this frog, guys. I can't believe what I'm looking at. This is insane. I've actually read about this before. This is insanely rare. Every once in a while, based on limitations within genetic dynamics, a frog will sometimes lose pigmentation through its genetic line and will be blue in coloration. I mean, we are talking about a literal unicorn right here. This is crazy. Oh, he moved. There he is, I still see him. Oh.
He can't make it through there. Oh, whoa. Oh, yes. Maybe he'll come back this way. Still see him?
Dude, that was crazy. That was crazy. Okay, hold on, I'm coming back to you. I think we need to come back at night. If we come back at night and we see that frog, I can spot it with a flashlight, and I don't think it'll jump. I couldn't even get close.
Okay.
If we can catch that frog, holy cow, that will be insane. A blue frog. I cannot believe what I just saw. If he comes back out at night, we're definitely gonna get him.
Let's do it.
So how do you catch the uncatchable frog? I'm gonna build a contraption. When I chased after this frog, the first thing it did was hop across all the duckweed and disappear back and into the swamp. And I've got this long wooden beam, and I'm going to secure my net to the beam. If I don't have to touch the water, even better. Now, bullfrogs have a tendency to be pretty territorial, so I think even though the fact that I chased it back into the marsh, it's still going to return to that spot to defend its little claim right there. That is good and secure and will give me several more feet of reach. All right, guys, this is it. We're gonna catch ourselves a blue bullfrog. Okay, guys, sun has set. We're gonna catch ourselves a blue bullfrog. Okay, it's just down the way here. Let's sneak up and see if it's back in its spot. There he is.
Okay.
Right there. He's way closer to me. Oh, shoot. Okay, this frog is definitely tough to catch. Definitely knows that we're onto him.
Oh! Don't do it by hand. It's gonna be slippy. Use the net. Put it right under him. Oh!
Okay. You could go from behind.
Hang on, let me get the light on him. There he goes, right there. He's going. Oh, there he goes.
I see him.
Still there.
I gotta go on the other side of that fence.
Okay. I think we're gonna get him.
The length of the net is now actually hurting me.
Oh.
I see him.
No. Dang it.
Gosh, he's way back in there.
Did we lose him?
I lost him. Dang it. It was literally inches from my hand right here. I should have gone for the hand catch, man. Dude, he's all the way back there in those reeds. I can't get him. But, here's the thing. We tried to catch him in daylight. He went all the way back there and came all the way right back to this spot. There's a good chance this frog will be back. I think I gotta catch him by hand. He's too smart for the net. This frog knows exactly what is happening. He's impossible to catch. This is crazy, absolutely crazy. Okay, this is day 2. We are back to the spot where the blue bullfrog was spotted yesterday, and this morning it has returned to its territory, which certainly proves my theory that this frog is running this little pocket of water. Now, I can see the frog. I'm not going to try to catch it during daylight. It is way too smart. This may be the smartest frog I've ever encountered. I mean, it was playing cat and mouse with me last night. It was just a game. It led me back into the reeds. I got bitten up by mosquitoes. It was rough. I've never had a more difficult struggle catching a frog. So what we're gonna do is wait until sun gets low in the sky again, just at sunset. When this frog is back in the spot, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna take another attempt. I will attempt with the net at first, but if it gets close, gotta use my hand. Last night, the frog was literally about 1.5 feet away from me, and I defaulted to the net. I should have gone with my gut and tried to catch it with my hand, and I might have had it, but we're gonna give it one more shot tonight. Okay, here we go. The 3rd attempt at catching the blue bullfrog. What I've done tonight is brought a smaller net plus the long extended net. Gotta up our chances, and if it's not with the net, it's going to be with my hand. Yes, that's him, that's him, that's him. You ready?
Yep.
Oh. Just isn't in the rough spot.
You got him. You got him.
Oh, whoa, whoa, no! No! No!
No!
What? No!
Oh my gosh. Dude, you had him.
Hold on. Let's rewind and slow it down. Look at the evasive maneuver this frog pulls off as it springs from inside the net and does a full nosedive back into the water and disappears beneath the duckweed. Now look at this. Freeze frame. Zoom in. My hand is less than an inch away from making a swooping and unbelievable catch. But I missed it. It was so close!
Dude, I had him.
I
in the
know,
net.
I saw him.
Are you kidding me? I can't believe that just happened. There's nothing more frustrating than literally having the frog you've been trying to catch for 3 days in your net and then have it spring out just as I was trying to get my hand in there to keep him locked in position. Don't got him yet. We're gonna keep trying. Is it day 3? Day 3, attempt number 4. 4? Mm-hmm. Official attempt number 4. The blue frog is back. I'm gonna walk over to the car and get the net. Do you guys believe in miracles? Is it possible to catch a blue frog? We're about to find out. This is it. This is our last day. Okay, let's see what happens.
Okay.
Oh,
It's already on to us. And that's it.
there he goes. All the way back.
I don't think we even had a chance.
I literally wasn't even able to set foot in the water.
The legend of the blue frog.
There he goes. Just went back further. That's it. The blue frog is officially uncatchable. There is a frog that is not capable of being caught by Coyote Peterson. Well, maybe we'll have to return to Middle Bass Island at some point to see if the blue frog still manages to evade capture. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild and impossible to catch. We'll see you on the next adventure.
The legend of the blue frog persists. Will we catch Bluey on our next adventure? Stay tuned. You're my boy, Blue. You're my boy.
There's a famous song that goes, "Country roads take me home,
to the place I belong, West Virginia. And on this adventure, we will be following an old gravel country road that will hopefully take us to the place that one very rare creature calls home.
This is West Virginia. First time I have ever filmed in this state. Many creatures we can come across. Now it's just a matter of taking this gravel path further into the wilderness, and then we'll break trail into the underbrush and see what we can find. Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Today we are working alongside field herpetologist Tim Brust, who has spent many summers researching the various creatures that call this wild and wonderful state home. And while he specializes in reptiles and amphibians, today we are after one incredibly elusive crustacean that for now, we will simply call the blue crayfish.
This is cool. We have a little stream system that is moving right through the middle of the forest. This is actually a great place to look for small woodland frogs and salamanders. Look at this.
Most of the time you imagine crayfish living in streams and rivers. However, the species we are searching for today is a variety of burrowing crayfish that lives underground. They can be found in areas known as seeps, which are defined as a wet place where groundwater reaches the Earth's surface from an underground aquifer. Similar to the fully aquatic crayfish species, the burrowing crayfish also hides under rocks. So it was just a matter of flipping the right one.
So, Tim, this is what's considered seepage. Here, Mark, take a look at this. See all this water here just in this low spot?
Yeah.
This is actually seeping out from the hillsides, right?
Yep.
So Tim tells me that this rock right here is a great example of something we should flip that may have a crayfish underneath. And I can see this is all real moist right here. You see all this water? It looks like we're just on leaves, but you peel the leaves back and you've got water. So there could actually be a crayfish under this rock. Oh, there's a lot of water there. Guess I'll just put my hand in there and see if there's anything in it. Oh, there's definitely a burrow right there. Oh, but no crayfish. All right, let's keep going.
From rock to rock we searched, gently flipping each one and placing it right back in the exact same spot so that we did not alter the design of the environment.
Oh, jeez.
Whoa, what is that?
That's a huge slimy salamander. Oh, and it is slippery. Oh, come here.
Got it, got it?
I got it. Yes. Wow, that is an enormous slimy salamander. That's probably the biggest one I have ever seen. Now, they're called slimy salamanders because they excrete a slime from their skin. It's almost like a slug. It is very, very sticky. Let me turn you like this. You gonna sit up on my fingers there? Wow. That is a giant salamander. Much bigger than the salamanders that we catch in Ohio. And look at that cool patterning. Almost looks like the spots of a spotted salamander. Now this is a lungless salamander species. They actually breathe through their skin. So I don't want to handle it for too long. And you can see I'm trying not to actually handle it, like grasp onto it, because I don't want to take moisture from its skin. But just handling it a tiny bit and my fingers are extremely sticky. Now one cool thing about salamanders is that they can actually, well, most varieties can detach their tails. It's called caudal autonomy, the same thing that lizards are capable of doing, and that helps them escape from predators, and then that tail will rejuvenate itself. Well, what a great find. It's not a blue crayfish, but still pretty cool to get this salamander up close for the cameras. All right, I'm gonna dip it in water, place it back under the rock, and we'll keep searching. Sound good?
Great start.
All right, here we go. Yeah, here, come here, check this out. Oh, come on. Oh, I got one.
Do you?
I got one.
Oh.
Yes, but it's not blue. It's a crayfish, but it's not blue.
Yeah, let's go down and take a look.
Oh, he's rearing up with those claws. Look at that. Oh man, every time. Yep, he's just holding on with those pinchers. Oh, the next pincher's about to pinch me too. All right, little buddy, I appreciate that. Can you call ahead to some of your cousins who are blue? That's what we're really looking for. I knew I was gonna get pinched. Oh, man, it's one cool little crustacean though. A little fossorial crayfish. All right, back under the rock with this crayfish. We're gonna continue searching.
You can flip rocks for hours and come across nothing. But that's what makes it fun, because there's always going to be another rock. And all it takes is flipping the right rock to uncover a jewel of the wilderness. I'm telling you guys, you're not gonna believe how blue this little animal is until you actually see it. Actually, this rock right here, before we walk past it, looks perfect. That's a huge rock.
I think you could do it. Muscles, come on.
Oh man, I don't think I can.
You've been hitting the gym.
I don't think I can lift that one.
That's a two-hander.
That's a weird beetle. You need to see if it's possible.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be a whopper.
Let's do it.
That's a big rock right there. All right, here we go. I'm gonna lift it. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I got one. Holy mackerel. There it is.
Whoa!
That is a blue crayfish.
I told you to go for that rock.
Heavy rock. And it paid off with a blue crayfish. Look at that thing. Okay, I'm gonna leave this rock positioned just like this.
Here, let's come over here.
Let's back up to the trail. Wow.
Yeah, this is good. This is good.
Look at that. Can you believe how blue that crayfish is? Hold on. I'm gonna turn it like this and kind of hold it by its tail. There it is. The sapphire of the West Virginia hillsides. It is so blue. I can't believe it. It is as blue as the sky is. Look at that crustacean.
Wow.
That must be the coolest looking crayfish I have ever seen. Now, this is a species that is subterranean, which means that they have burrows that can go down as deep as 8 feet under the ground, and they will come up into those little pools of water underneath the rocks to search for food. Now, these crayfish do not grow to be very large. This is about average size, and it is a female, and the way that I can tell that is by looking at its underside. It does not have these little kind of grappling legs underneath there, where if it was a male, it would use to grasp onto a female. And I can also tell that this one has a regenerated claw. If you didn't know this, most crustaceans, especially crayfish, are capable of losing claws and then they regenerate them. So this claw right here is a little bit smaller than that claw. So at some point, a predator likely tried to eat it, it dropped its claw, and then it managed to escape. And now that claw is growing back.
So I heard that these crayfish, they can actually drown in water. So if you found one of these, you wouldn't want to release it in the stream.
No, they go in water. Their burrows oftentimes are filled with water, but they have to keep coming to the surface to breathe. Now, they do have gills, just like aquatic crayfish, but those gills allow them to breathe air. So you may be wondering to yourself, Coyote, don't you need to put this thing back into the water? Is it going to suffocate by being out in the open air? No, not at all. This crayfish is breathing right now.
So Coyote, we actually need to get some data while we're out here, correct?
That's right. It is possible that this is a new subspecies of this crayfish. Now, there are 2 recognized species, and it is possible that this one could be a third. So what we're gonna do is take some really detailed photographs and mark the GPS coordinates, and you never know, this may be a completely newly discovered crayfish. How cool would that be?
That would be awesome. Do you think they'll let us name it?
Ooh, maybe. And if we were able to name it, I would call it the Sapphire Crayfish, because in my opinion, this is a lost jewel here in the hillsides of West Virginia. Coyote Pack, what do you guys think? The Sapphire Crayfish? I like it. Well, I would say it was a pretty epic adventure today. We flipped over many rocks, we found salamanders, we found a brown crayfish, and then of course, the last largest rock revealed to us this little blue beauty. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. The blue crayfish is one of the most uniquely colored animals we have ever come across. Its elusive nature and subterranean dwelling made it difficult to find, but in the end, the long search was completely worth it. As of the release of this episode, this subspecies of crayfish has officially been classified as a new discovery and is in the process of being described by scientists. And when it comes to the common name officially becoming the sapphire crayfish, well, that's still up for debate, and we are told there is a chance it may actually happen. So I'll continue to keep my fingers crossed. Located in Manuel Antonio as part of the Gaia Hotel and Reserve, this conservation project is working to rewild and give back territory to these beautiful birds. 40 years ago, the Scarlet Macaw disappeared from this area due to poaching and deforestation that was directly linked to agricultural expansion. But since this project's inception in 2014, 59 birds have been successfully released back into the wild. Today, I'll be working alongside Dr. Anna, the lead veterinarian at Costa Macaw.
She has recruited me to help catch a bird that is going to be re-released. We'll collect some biometrics, but most importantly, we need to pull a blood sample, because hidden in its avian genetic code is a very important answer that will determine this bird's future. Now, before I test my luck at netting a parrot, first, it's time for some breakfast.
All right, guys, how we looking?
Just setting up the cameras right now, and then we have a feeding table or tray here. We got one right down there.
Okay.
And we're gonna hoist it up, or you're gonna hoist it up, and we're gonna watch the birds come flying in.
Very cool. Let me show you guys what this feeding tray looks like. This is where things are gonna start to get really, really noisy. Now, there's gonna be a variety of fruits and nuts that we place onto this basket right here. And of course, we're gonna get creative and mount a GoPro there as well, so you guys can get an up-close shot at what it feels like to be a piece of fruit being consumed by a macaw. Okay, the birds are starting to gather. You can see all up in the trees here above us. They know breakfast is about to be served. Chef Coyote and Dr. Anna have an incredible spread prepared for this morning. So these birds are going to have a very nutritious breakfast.
So we need 2 handfuls of nuts and 2 handfuls of sunflower seeds.
Okay, look pretty good?
That's perfect.
I would eat that. So no fruit goes on here, or we just...
No, just nuts.
Oh, just the nuts.
For the ones in the cage.
Oh, gotcha, okay. Okay, so we're ratcheted in there. Is that good like that?
Yes.
Okay, now what? Oh,
now
hoist
pull
it
the
up.
rope.
Okay. All right, here we go. This is officially what it takes to feed the macaws. Going up. Nice. Breakfast is served, ladies and gentlemen.
By securing GoPros on the food platform, we are able to get you a front row seat at the breakfast table. Hold on tight, we are headed up into the treetops. Feedings happen daily, and today's breakfast buffet includes palm nuts and sunflower seeds. Free to come and go as they please, these parrots were once being rehabilitated in the enclosures below, and are going through what's known as a transitional phase.
I think you licked the camera.
Eventually, they will adapt to their new wild surroundings and spread throughout the region. This process is all a part of the successful reintroduction of these birds to Manuel Antonio.
Okay, birds are fed.
Feeding macaws was definitely the easy part. Now it's time for the medical checkup. But before we do, as a good-natured warning to your ears, you might want to lower the volume, because things are about to get really, really noisy.
I think I'm ready. It's time to enter an enclosure with a macaw. Even entering in with one of these birds is a little intimidating with those claws and that beak. Now, what is the process that I need to go through for safely catching this guy?
Just need to put it in the nest. Maybe you have to corner or bring it close to the net or the floor.
Oh, I get to use a net.
Yep.
Gotcha, okay.
It's ready for you.
Ah, okay, that's a little bit better. I thought I was gonna have to do this with my bare hands. I mean, earlier when I said, do I need to bring gloves? And you're like, no, don't worry about the gloves. I was like, because how strong is the bite of one of these birds? Like, it could take your finger off, right?
Yes.
Cool, so you're just gonna let me loose into this enclosure and see what happens?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
See what happens.
All right.
Hold up. Now, before I go in there and net this bird, it's important to understand why we want to catch it. Dr. Anna doesn't know if it's a male or a female, and to find out, we need its blood. Let's talk about avian DNA sexing. That fancy term is a process used by scientists to correctly identify a bird's gender, and it requires a sample of blood to get the answer. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Can't you just go in there, lift up the bird's tail feathers, and determine if it's a boy or a girl? Not exactly. Male and female macaws are nearly identical in size and color. They also lack typical reproductive organs, which means that the only way to determine this species' sex is to pull a DNA sample. Okay, here we go. First things first. Let's see if I can catch a bird.
Here we go. Hey, buddy. How are you? Just gonna try to get you in the net. Yep, not feeling that. I getcha. I getcha. Okay, here we go. Maybe if I just put this above it. Nope.
okay, buddy? Walk on in. There we go. Okay, all the way in. Okay, not too squawky. And I haven't been bitten. This is a good thing.
You can put all the pressure you want here, but you don't, not your
on the
fingers
neck at all.
here. No,
Okay.
not on the neck.
Oh, right there, kind of right behind the jaw. Whoa.
Okay, let's take it outside.
All right, I'm holding a macaw. Very intimidating to have your fingers that close to the bird's beak. Look at how sharp it is. Let's go on out here. Okay, I'm gonna move real slow, trying to make sure we put as little stress on you as possible. Pretty good, not too much squawking. Okay, okay. Now, the skull of this bird is absolutely massive. Look at the beak. Extremely powerful, very sharp. Don't want to get your fingers in there. One of the coolest things about these birds is look at all the white skin on the side of the face with no feathers. Really makes you feel as if you're holding on to a dinosaur.
This next part is going to get even louder. So to save your ears from medieval torture, I will narrate what's happening while you enjoy some peaceful music. The best way to hold a macaw is to keep the wings tucked in, almost like you were cradling a football. But the most important thing is controlling that beak. Dr. Anna shows me how to secure the head to avoid taking a bite. And fear not, this causes absolutely no discomfort to the bird, as I am literally holding onto solid bone wrapped in leathery skin. The goal is to work quickly but efficiently as the bird undergoes its routine checkup, which includes swabbing for viruses.
You know, when I have to get COVID tests, they've got to swap me.
An oral dewormer, and an anti-mite spray. Remember, Dr. Anna doesn't know the sex of this bird, and its blood is a genetic roadmap that leads to the answer. So most importantly, we need that blood sample. After it's drawn, the blood will be sent to a lab for analysis, and the gender will be determined before the bird's release back into the wild. Don't worry, we will tell you the answer before the end of this video, so stay tuned. Now last, but not least, we put a unique identification ring around its leg. The characters on this tag are like the bird's social security number that can be used to identify this individual if it is ever caught in the future.
Okay, and there you have it. That is how you properly do a vet procedure checkup on the Scarlet Macaw. Dr. Anna, thank you so much for allowing us to participate in the work behind the scenes here today at the Macaw Sanctuary. This was certainly an experience I didn't imagine I was going to be having this trip to Costa Rica, but these birds are absolutely beautiful. I feel as if I made a special connection here with little Squawky. That doctor's checkup wasn't too bad, was it? Well, if you guys want to check out the sanctuary, click on the link in the video description below and help support these beautiful birds. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure.
The Scarlet Macaw is one of our planet's most iconic bird species. Yet unfortunately, with their elegant beauty, has come the human desire to trap and trade them. Many of the birds living at Costa Rica have been rescued from the illegal pet trade, some of which will be rehabilitated and released back into the wild, but some that will never be able to go free. If you have a love for macaws and want to help in their reintroduction to Manuel Antonio, please consider making a donation. Every effort counts, and if we all help, the future of these birds will become even brighter than it was before. And now, the moment you have been waiting for, the official gender reveal. The lab results are back, and our parrot was a girl. Since the filming of this episode, she has been safely released back into the wild, and with hope, she will go on to lay eggs and carry forward the repopulation efforts of Costa Rica. The darkness of night brings with it the awakening of many rainforest creatures. And on the Caribbean side of Costa Rica, one of the most iconic amphibians in Central America is out on the hunt for its next meal.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning. We have been out here for hours looking for what is supposed to be one of the most common species of tree frog here in Costa Rica. We found all sorts of frog species, just not the one that we're actually after for this episode.
And at the right time of year,
Specifically during the rainy season, these frogs descend from the treetops and can be found near permanent or temporary bodies of water, where they have come to lay their eggs. Right there. Those are tree frog eggs. Look at that cluster. How cool is that? There are many species of frogs in the rainforest you can happen upon, and some of them, like the gliding leaf frog, also have red eyes. That, oh, gotta move slowly, is a gliding leaf frog. Look at you. Pretty good size, too. This isn't a boreal species. You usually find them high up in the trees. And they're called gliding leaf frogs because they use the momentum of their bodies. They jump from higher heights down to lower heights. Look at that. That is one cool looking frog. All right, search for the red-eyed tree frog continues. Our search didn't take us much further when, sure enough, we finally came upon the amphibian we had all hoped to finally get in front of the cameras.
You're not going to believe it. There's actually one right here on this leaf.
Where?
Look at that. There is the red-eyed tree frog curled up in a little ball. I'm going to cough my light. Bring that light a little bit closer. 100%. Oh my gosh. We have been looking for hours for this frog, and sure enough, there it is, completely camouflaged. Now you'll notice, I'm going to tilt it a little bit. Mark, you see the eyeball there? See that reticulated pattern? Now the frog can see us through that. You see it almost looks like gold spider webbing, but it thinks it's completely hidden. It's got its toes tucked under, the coloration on the side of its body tucked under, and if you didn't know what you were looking for, it just looks like a bump on that leaf. All right, here we go. You ready? Look at that. He's just like saying to himself, oh, you guys can't see me. Gotcha. Be really gentle. There it is. The red-eyed tree frog, the most famous frog species here in Costa Rica. You gonna wake up for us? Look at those eyes. Hi, how are you? I know that everybody out there watching has been asking to see this frog since we made our first trip to Costa Rica. Now, when we were on the West Coast, these frogs do live there, but they were all high up in the trees because it was the dry season. Now here on the East Coast, we have a lot of rains that have pushed through, and no, not in my mouth. Okay, well, in this instance, you just kind of go with it. I do have to be careful because these frogs can excrete a toxin from their skin. Don't want to get that in my mouth or my eyes. Here we go. Why don't we bring you up here on my hand and let's get you up close for the camera and get some interesting facts. How cool is this? How excited are you? We finally found one! Yes! Okay. Now, the common name for this frog is the red-eyed tree frog. However, it's technically a red-eyed leaf frog, and that is because it is an arboreal species, which means that they live high up in the treetops. Hence the name leaf frogs. They are always hanging out on leaves. Or like this, as you can see, they're really good at jumping and really good at climbing. And now it's on my hat. Is it still right there?
Yeah, it is. Let me see if I can grab it off.
Okay, see if you can just kind of get it and bring it back down here onto my hand, Mark. Got him? There we go. Oh, there you go, little guy. Now, that leaping ability is excellent when it comes to escaping from predators. Look at that. Look how long those legs are.
Now, how do they grip?
Those sticky pads, and they are so incredibly sticky. I can feel it every time he moves himself around on my fingertip or my hand. They secrete this mucus from the tips of their fingers. It's almost like a temporary glue that allows them to move from leaf to leaf, or if they leap across a wide expanse, they can just whap, land onto something, and they will stick. All right, let's take a real good look at this frog's eyes, because if there's one thing that this frog is iconic for, it is those reddish orange eyes. They're enormous as compared to the size of this frog's head. And that is because this is a nocturnal species. This allows the frog to be able to see its prey when it's out there hunting at night. Now, this is a male. I can tell that because the males are significantly smaller than the females, and what you guys cannot smell is that right now it's actually secreting a toxin from its skin. Now, this frog just does not really want to cooperate, does it? No. He really wants to crawl on my face. Okay, back on the leaf. All right, let's see if I can do this. This amphibian is going to be much more comfortable if I actually keep it on a leaf like that. Now, there is a perfect example of this animal's camouflage. He's like, you can't see me, but we can. Let me see if I can get him right up on the edge of the leaf. Like that. Do not jump on my face again. Wow.
Very cool. Now, these frogs are insectivores, which means that they eat bugs, and they're opportunistic. So any mosquito or moth or little flying creature that comes across its path when it's sitting here on a leaf is fair game. Okay, now I do know that this is a male, and the way that I'm at least guessing is because the males are significantly smaller than the females. But both males and females have the exact same color patterns on their bodies. However, for males to attract females here in the rainforest, what they'll do is actually bounce up and down on the leaves, shaking the leaves, informing the females that they're there and they're available for breeding. How cool is that? That's an interesting little dating tactic that you have.
Well, I think he kind of wants to go back up in the trees.
I think he does, and we have hung out with this frog for quite a while now, and I think at this juncture, it's probably a good idea to get it back off into the rainforest so it can continue hunting. But what an expedition, spending hours out here at night and finally coming across the red-eyed leaf frog. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. All right, let's let this guy back into the rainforest. The red-eyed leaf frog has long been one of my most admired amphibians, and getting to film them in a completely natural setting was one frog encounter that I will always remember. As we begin our journey into the second season of Breaking Trail, I find myself at home in the desert. The Southwest has always been one of my favorite places to explore, and if you can withstand the intense heat, it is about 108 degrees out here today. Spine-covered plant life. Oh my gosh, that thing is really wedged into my hand. I knew this was gonna happen. And the venomous creatures. You might find yourself loving it just as much as me. I find that exploring in a wash or narrow canyon near sunset almost always yields an animal encounter, some of which can really keep you on your toes.
Got a snake! Got a snake! Yes! Check this out! Oh, look at that! Do you know what species that is? That is a coach whip. And this is one of the fastest snakes that you're ever gonna come across out here in the desert. Get this guy on the ground, you have no shot of catching him. I saw him just dart off of that tree branch. Sorry, I couldn't even give you any warning. Just had to lunge for him. Look at that. Look how long and beautiful that snake is. Now, these snakes are feeding on lizards and any other little rodents that might be running around out here in the desert. Look at how beautiful those eyes are though. Wow, so perfectly streamlined. That obviously allows them to move incredibly quick. The reason that they're called coach whips is that you can see the snake pretty much looks like a whip. These snakes are non-venomous, certainly have no interest in going after humans. They're just out here to explore the desert and look for dinner. So cool. All right, well, let's get him back up in his tree so that he can continue hunting. Oh, that was cool to see him climbing up into the trees. All right, let's head up towards the base of this mountain, some big boulders. Let's see what we can find living up there.
In my book, any snake encounter has made the day. But when I explore the desert, my mind is fixated on one thing and one thing only: lizards. And which ones will I try to catch this time? The Sonoran Desert and its expansive, beautifully rugged ecosystems provides a home to many species, some of which are safe and simple to catch, like the regal horned lizard, and some that you should never try to catch, like the venomous Gila monster.
He doesn't want anything to do with us right now. He's just laying low to the sand saying, okay, don't get any closer.
I love looking for and trying to catch lizards because they always pose such a challenge. The skill of actually making a capture requires stealth, precision, and a whole lot of luck.
All right, look, we got it. That is a collared lizard. You see his little yellow head? Barely see him. All right, I'm gonna leave my snake stick here. Come up slow. Try not to startle him. Got him. Ow, 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 he's biting me. Ah! Ow, he's got a hold of my finger. I got a hold of him and he's got a hold of me. Look at that. Ah, geez. I guess that's one way to catch a collared lizard. I can't even believe you let me get that close. Holy cow. All right, whoa, those teeth are super sharp. He is locked onto my finger. Ah, geez, didn't see that coming. And as you can see, he kind of said, you're gonna catch me? Well, guess what, Coyote? I am also going to catch you. Ah, this is just a totally uncomfortable situation, but I got him, and we're gonna get the most beautiful and the fastest lizard in the Southwest up close for you right now. All right, let me get off of this. Okay.
What does that feel like?
It feels like a bunch of little tiny needles
Yes. Thank you for letting go. Ouch. All right, now let's try to get a better look at this beautiful, beautiful lizard. Look at him. Now, this is one of the most aggressive species of lizards that we have out here, and certainly not aggressive towards humans. They're aggressive towards the other animals that call the desert home. This is kind of like a little mini T-Rex. As he's roaming the hillsides here, he is looking for anything that's unfortunate enough to get close to those jaws. And I can tell you firsthand that their bite is a serious powerhouse. This is probably the fastest lizard species that we have here in the Southwest. In fact, they are so quick that when they're running, their front half will lift off the ground, kind of like a basilisk lizard, and they'll use these back feet to project themselves up in the air, and this long, skinny tail kind of works like a rudder to help direct them through the environment. I would put him down and show you what that looks like, but he is going to take off so incredibly quick, we would not be able to catch him again. Now look how beautiful the coloration is on this lizard. He's got this bright yellow head, and the reason they're called collared lizards is because you see that double black striped collar on the back of his neck there, the teal skin, the yellow and white speckling. Unbelievably beautiful. And you may be saying to yourself, gosh, this lizard looks like it would really stick out in the desert environment. It must be easy for predators to pick this guy off. Actually, because this lizard is so fast, it's almost impossible for predators to catch it. I'd say the only thing that's going to be able to get one of these lizards and turn it into dinner would be a roadrunner or maybe a coach whip. What an awesome experience. Getting close, actually catching, and then getting chomped by the eastern collared lizard. One of the most beautiful and fastest lizards that we have here in the Southwest. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. All right, you ready to get back up on your rock and not bite any more coyotes? I hope so. This was only the second time in my life that I was able to capture a collared lizard. And despite getting bitten, I'd consider this a lucky day. There's an old saying that things go bump in the night, which usually refers to anything mysterious and more often than not, frightening. There it is, the desert millipede. 1,000 legs. Awesome. Now imagine yourself out walking alone in the darkness of Arizona's Sonoran Desert. A wild place that comes alive in the dark with spiders, snakes, and the one creature that personally makes my skin crawl, the scorpion. Armed with a set of pinchers and a venom-injecting stinger, they are about as creepy as nature gets. I love being out in the desert at night. The temperatures are so much cooler, animals are moving all over the place, but it's a little creepy. I mean, I can see up ahead of us here with the flashlight, but as soon as these lights go off and the black lights come on, it becomes much more difficult to see anything other than the scorpions. Now the black light is just what you need for finding scorpions because the UV actually causes them to illuminate a bright yellowish green. What we want to do is kind of comb the edges of the wash, get up into some rock piles, and see if we can get our hands on one of these creepy crawlies. But what if I told you that these creatures, which most consider living nightmares, were actually more afraid of us than we should ever be of them? So tonight I'm going to prove that scorpions, despite being creepy, are not out there to get us, and in fact, really just want to be left alone. There we go. Right there, right there. Wow, look how quick that is. That is definitely a striped-tailed scorpion. The most common scorpion in the Sonoran Desert is the striped-tailed. Got him.
Nice.
Ooh boy, that makes you nervous.
Back here toward the light.
Oh boy, okay. That takes a lot of nerve to pick up a scorpion that small. Now, the sting from this specific scorpion, the striped tail, is no more potent than that of a honeybee. But even still, this is not something that you ever want to go out and try to pick up like you just saw me do. But they're so quick that they run all over the place, and I kind of figured that the only way I could get him up close for the camera was to actually pick him up. Now, what's really difficult about handling a scorpion this small is that when I tailed it, I had to actually grab the knuckle that's right where the tail meets the vesicle. Now the vesicle is what's holding all of the venom, and then of course they have a stinger right on the end. Let me see if I can get him to walk up on this rock here. All right, you got your shot? I'm gonna let go, ready? Yep. 1, 2, 3. Don't get too close, but to identify this little arachnid, just look for a series of dark stripes on the tail. My favorite part of any scorpion encounter is always the release. And with one species down, our search continued into the night. Giant desert hairy right here. Oh, look at the size of that one. Wow, that is a big scorpion. I'm just gonna tail him. These ones are a lot easier to tail than the little ones. Got him.
Awesome.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Nice.
Now this is the largest species of scorpion that we have in the United States and here in the Sonoran Desert. That is the giant desert hairy scorpion. And he also has his dinner in his mouth. Look at that, he's eating a moth. Now the way to easily tell the giant desert hairy apart from the other scorpions here in the Sonoran Desert, aside from how large they are, is they have all of these little hairs. See all those little hairs on the vesicle around the stinger? That's why they call them hairy. Now, scorpions, like all arachnids, have 8 legs, and these ones up front here, the pedipalps with the pinchers on the end, that's actually just a modified set of legs that helps them hunt. Now, scorpions are perfectly designed for this environment, but they do have quite a few predators. Rodents will eat them, lizards will eat them, so a scorpion of this size is much easier for a predator to pick off than some of the smaller species. All right, let's get this guy back on his log so he can finish his moth dinner. Of the nearly 1,500 scorpion species in the world, only around 25 have a sting that is potentially dangerous to humans. And in the United States, the only one that packs such a punch is the bark scorpion. Right here. Ha! Look at that. There's a bark scorpion right on the underside of this branch.
You sure that's a bark?
I am 100% positive that's a bark scorpion. They have a very long tail and extra long, skinny pinchers. You don't need a robust set of pinchers when you have a venom that's so toxic. All it takes is one sting and that prey is instantly doomed. Now, the other way that I can easily tell this is a bark scorpion is that this is the only species that likes to climb, and they actually practice what's called negative geotaxis, which is hanging upside down. And this scorpion, as you can see, is just perfectly balancing there, which means it can move on the top of this branch or the bottom of this branch regardless and catch its food. So if a moth comes in close, boom, he's gonna snatch out with those pinchers, inflict a lethal sting, and then he has his dinner. All right, now, scorpions are something that you would never, ever, ever want to handle, but what I'm gonna do now is gently get this guy onto my hand to prove that scorpions aren't out there just to sting you. If I handle this scorpion gently, I'm pretty confident that it's not gonna sting. But if I am tagged, this is going to be extremely painful. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to free handle the most lethal species of scorpion in the United States. Are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there we go. That is the most venomous species of scorpion in the United States. And he's on my hand. All right, this makes me a little bit nervous. I want to see if I can get him to just sit still. Whew, that definitely gets your nerves going. Now, as long as I handle this creature gently and don't apply any pressure, I believe that I will be just fine. Scorpions sting people when they feel threatened. So let's say this species specifically, they love to hang upside down underneath things. It could be a piece of wood, it could be your lawn chair. You come outside and you grab onto that and you squeeze down on the scorpion. If it feels pressured, like it's going to get squashed, it's going to sting as a defense. As you can see right now, he doesn't have his tail or his stinger in a defensive position. He's just curious, he's looking around. He says, this is not a tree, this is different. And for me, this is also different and extremely nerve-wracking. But the reason that I'm doing this is to prove that these scorpions aren't just out there to sting you.
Now, how bad would it be if the scorpion were to sting you?
Okay, there he goes, he stopped. If this scorpion were to sting me right now, I would be in incredible pain for the next 48 hours. I don't know how my body would react to the venom. I could go into anaphylactic shock. Not likely, but at the very least, extreme pain for 48 hours, depending how far the venom spread into my arm. I could lose use in my arm for a couple of days. My tongue could swell up. I could foam at the mouth, cramps in the stomach, all sorts of bad stuff that you don't want to have to deal with. What I just want to do right now is stay as still as possible. The scorpion has found a spot where he feels comfortable. I feel comfortable. And as you can see, he doesn't feel agitated. I'm being as gentle as I can with him, and I must tell you right now, this is never, ever anything I recommend someone go out and try and do. This is the most venomous species of scorpion in the United States, and it is getting a little too close to the edge of my sleeve. Come on, buddy, come back up this way. All right, at this point, I think he's getting a little agitated, so what I want to do is get him back up into the tree so he can continue hunting. This has been one extreme experience with the most venomous species of scorpion in the United States. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. Arizona is home to the only scorpion anti-venom program in North America, and they only administer treatment to around 100 people a year. What's even more incredible is that no scorpion-related deaths have been reported in Arizona for more than 40 years. So the next time you see a scorpion, remember, these arachnids are more afraid of us than we should ever be of them. As long as you give a scorpion space and respect, there's virtually no chance it's going to sting you. Deep within the mist-covered mountains, a complex network of rivers and streams cut through the ancient landscape of Japan. Crystal clear and often fast-flowing, these waters provide a refuge for various aquatic species, including one of the planet's largest amphibians, the Japanese giant salamander. And while we will certainly be putting a focused effort on getting that species up close for the cameras, today we are in search of its smaller and strangely more dangerous cousin, the fire-bellied newt. The Tottori Prefecture is one of the most remote and biologically diverse ecosystems in all of Japan. The dense forests and lush landscapes are teeming with wildlife, and if you make your way into the valleys, you find the source of this location's life, its waterways.
Wow, there's some huge rocks. Look at that. Absolutely massive. You don't want one of these toppling down on your head, that crush your whole body. We are exploring a river habitat that is strewn full of these boulders, but you see there are also these calm pockets that don't have any flow to them. Now, what we're searching for are Japanese fire-bellied newts. They are very prominent in this location. With just a little bit of effort, we should be able to get some up close for the cameras. All right, I'm just ahead of the team. I'm gonna scout down around this bend. Keep your fingers crossed, guys. This might be a newt episode.
With my eyes focused, I search the pockets of water, hoping to catch sight of any fleeing animals. And it wasn't long before I successfully came upon our target species.
All right, so what are we doing? Coming up to these pockets here, I got a whole cluster of newts. It's exactly what we've been looking for.
You gotta use all fours. Okay.
All right, guys, so we forged across the main stretch of the river and I found this pocket that is filled with Japanese fire-bellied newts. Now, what I have with me is the Brave Wilderness Adventure Kit bug collection container, which today is gonna double for handling newts. So if you guys are ready, I'm gonna pick up a couple of them out of this pocket and we're gonna get them up close for the cameras. All right. Now, where did they go? Oh, here's one here. There we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. In you go, in you go. I'm just gonna grab a handful of them. We'll really just look at one. Look at that little guy right there. Hi, buddy. I saw a really big one. Where did it go? And they blend perfectly into all of these leaves. Just try to gently move the environment around a little bit until one swims, and then we'll be able to catch it. Oh, there it is.
You see
right
it?
Back in the corner right here. You see it?
You get shot. Oh, yeah.
See it down there? Oh, there's two, actually, one right next to each other.
Nice.
I'm gonna get them both. Two newts at once. There we go. Got them.
Double catch.
Double newt catch. All right, well, I think 4 is a good collection.
That's awesome.
All right, let's get them up here into the better light and get them up close for the cameras. Now, I said it when we walked up and caught these newts, but these are Japanese fire-bellied newts. And while they may appear to be adorable, and there's no argument as to whether or not they are, this is one of the most toxic amphibian species in the world. Now, I wanted to collect a few of them out of that little pocket of water. Look at them, all just piled up in there, crawling around. Gives you the good opportunity for some B-roll shots on their bellies.
but I know what you guys really want me to do is free handle one of these newts. And don't worry, it's gonna be completely fine. I just wanna be as gentle as possible and not put any stress on the animal, because if I do, they're gonna secrete that toxin. Okay, I'm gonna get the biggest one out of there. You guys ready?
Yep.
All right, I'm just gonna sort of set the container down here. Oh.
How many newts total did we get?
I picked up 4, but I think there were 6 in that little pocket of water. And I'm just gonna handle a single one. There we go. It'll be a little easier to see it like this. Look at that newt. Wow, look how cute it is. That's amazing. As you look at the back of this newt, from the dorsal side, it looks just like the California newt or the rough skin newts that we saw in California. But if you turn it to the underside, you can see where it gets that name, fire belly. And that bright red coloration is a very apparent sign, an aposematic sign, that this is one incredibly toxic amphibian. Now, just behind the head here, see those 2 little lumps just above the ear? Just like a toad, these newts have a parotoid gland. That parotoid gland is filled with poison. Now, if something comes in and threatens to eat this newt, it will secrete poison from that parotoid gland. It has a very noxious smell and a very pungent taste. So that first defense mechanism basically says to any predator, don't eat me, I don't taste good. But if that doesn't deter the predator from turning this creature into a meal, the toxins inside of its body, within its skin and within its muscles, are actually much more potent. In fact, it is one of the 6 most potent toxins in the world. It's a neurotoxic poison. That poison can kill you in as few as 6 hours. So it doesn't matter if you are a human or an animal. If you eat this newt, you are going to die.
And is there any antidote?
There is no antidote for the poison that this newt contains within its body. So the reason for this aposematic coloration, that bright color, is a warning that if you eat me, I am guaranteed to be the last thing you ever eat. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are looking at this species saying to yourself, well, wait a minute, I've seen these in the pet store. Some of you may even have one of these newts as a pet. Mark, I think you said
I had one.
You had one as a kid, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's how the toxins work. The toxins come from the little insects that they eat. All of that potency has to do with the food that the amphibian consumes within the environment. Once they're in captivity and they're eating captive newt food, those toxins diminish and they are not as potent. Still, even if you have a newt at home, anytime you handle it, you definitely want to wash your hands. You always want to handle it as gently as possible because they usually secrete the toxin when they feel stressed.
Now, is that as big as they get?
They do get a little bit bigger than this, and the males are larger than the females, so this one is a male. You can see how prominent and lengthy that tail is. Look at that. It works like a rudder to help them quickly move through the environment. And when they swim, they will actually tuck their legs against the side of their body, just like that, almost like an alligator, and then they will thrust themselves forward with the power of that tail. Now, aside from it being toxic, like I said, they are very cute, but they're also voracious predators. These newts will feast upon anything they come across in the environment that will fit inside of their mouths. So little arthropods, small little shrimp, they'll even occasionally take really small frogs and other small salamanders.
Now, are these common in Japan?
Incredibly common. If you come to any aquatic environment, any freshwater environment, whether it's a flowing stream, a pond, or even an agricultural area, you will oftentimes find these newts. Well, we came to Japan with the goal of getting one of the largest amphibians in the world, the Japanese giant salamander, up close for the cameras, but we certainly couldn't pass up the opportunity to also feature one of its smallest, cutest, and certainly most toxic amphibian species. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. The fire-belly newt is one of the most toxic amphibians in the world. Yet their calm demeanor and adorable nature disguise them as if they are completely harmless. It's certainly best to admire newts from a safe distance. However, if you do encounter and handle one, just make sure to wash your hands afterwards. There is a really good reason as to why West Virginia is nicknamed the Mountain State. It is literally blanketed by the Appalachian Range, and from an aerial perspective, the sight is absolutely breathtaking. Today, the crew and I are following some precise GPS coordinates near Lewisburg, with the initial goal of locating a protected conservation site that is home to one very rare animal. We can't reveal the exact location, but let's just say this will be an adventure unlike anything we have embarked upon before.
Wow, that's pretty steep. I could see why you may stumble upon a cave on a mountainside like that.
Well, we're gonna have to hike in there.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get set up with the gear and head off trail.
Working under special permission granted by the West Virginia Department of Natural Resources, we will be spelunking into the darkness to search for one of the state's rarest amphibians, the cave salamander. However, in order to find one of these elusive creatures, first, we had to find the cave.
All right, this is where we leave civilization behind. I have 1 foot on gravel road, 1 foot in the forest. It's adventure time. It's kind of tough to keep your bearings in here because all of these trees have so many branches. When you just stare through it, I don't know if you can catch it on camera, but it's very disorienting to just stare in one direction. Green and all these streaks of brown coming out in all directions. Now, I'm actually listening for water. Once we start to hear water, we know that we'll be getting close to the creek that runs out of this cave. So, say we just keep moving over along this ridge line and keep your ears peeled.
All right.
Oh!
A little slippy, huh?
A little slippery. Yeah, this is,
You're right.
stinging nettle. Wow. Yeah, this is a tough off trail, that's for sure. This is really treacherous. Let's put my arm in stinging nettle. We're watching out for rattlesnakes. Getting to this cave is not going to be easy. All right, Mario, come on up. Got it. Oh, here's the game trail.
Oh yeah, let me see.
Look at that. Deer, fox, coyote, maybe even bears probably use this trail. So, right place, right time for something like that. All right, let's follow it. Oh wait, here, this looks good. Check this out.
Oh, here we go.
Now we're getting into more rocky terrain.
Here we go. This looks like it's actually a dry creek bed.
Yeah, let me listen for a second. I hear water. Shh. Can you hear that? It's faint, but it's all the way down there. And you can see there's all these large rocks. Definitely looks like the kind of area where you would find a cave. All right, let's make our way down this. Just watch your footing.
Right.
I think we're getting close, guys.
All right.
Yes! This is the mouth of the cave. Come over here. Wow. Yep. I would definitely say this is a cave.
Looks like a cave.
But this is not the cave that we want. The cave we want is through there. I shine my light in there. Can you see back in there at all?
Let me see. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we gotta go through that.
We're gonna have to army crawl through that. I think what's gonna be best is to put the cameras in dry bags, leave any gear outside that we don't need to take in, and literally submerge ourselves into this. You wanna find cave salamanders, you have to go into a cave. You guys up for this?
Let's do it.
All right, so for safety precautions, we're gonna actually leave Mario on the outside of the cave. Until we got to this moment, we didn't really think about the fact that, wow, this is really dangerous, guys. Never, ever, ever go into a cave by yourself. Make sure you're always with another person, and make sure you leave somebody on the outside. In the event that some rocks were to fall down and we got trapped in there, Mario is gonna be the one who goes for help.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, look, it's crumbly, guys.
Yeah.
Like, stuff's just seriously falling down. All right, got everything I need in here.
All right, Mario, good luck, guys. Tell my family I love them if we don't return. Oh man, this is intense. You don't realize how scary it's gonna be to actually go underground until you're about to go in underground. All right, are we set?
Yeah, I think we're ready here.
All right, 1, 2, here we go. Whoa, that's cold. Oh boy.
Whoa, that's crazy up there. It opens up a little bit in here.
Yeah?
Quite a bit. Whoa, I got a big salamander right here.
Yeah?
That's a spring salamander. Wow, look at that guy.
Oh, nice.
I'm not gonna disturb him. That's not exactly what we're looking for. All right, we gotta go. Oh man, there are spiders everywhere in here. But just be careful where you place your hands so that you don't actually get one on you. Got it. This is absolutely crazy. All right, you guys come up through there. I'm going to scout up ahead here and see if this all stays pretty low. It's pretty eerie. There's spiders everywhere. The rock formations are incredible. The water is freezing cold. This is unlike any environment I have ever been in before. And I'll tell you what, it is extremely nerve-wracking to be underground like this. You see the ceiling is just above my head there. It's pretty noisy with all the rushing water, but this is pretty cool. I'm just really trying to be methodical with my searching, looking at every single one of these little cracks and crevices. It's a great spot for these salamanders. Wow, this cavern is pretty open. I can actually stand in here. There's a cave salamander right there.
Where?
Look, 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 right here, climbing up the side of those rocks.
Try it with your flashlight.
Right here. Check that out. That is a cave salamander, you see it?
That's what we're looking for, right?
That's the one. Now they are fast. As soon as it realizes that we're real close, it may bolt. So I'm just gonna go ahead and catch it.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of cut my hand over gently and scoop it into the palm of my hand. You ready? Got him.
Okay, cool. Here, let's head down to flatter ground so we can film this.
Okay, perfect. Yes! Got a cave salamander. This is one of the rarest salamanders you can possibly come across. Here we go, ready? There it is. Whoa. That is a cave salamander right there. Now I have to be incredibly gentle with this little amphibian. This is unbelievably beautiful. Look at that. Orange coloration with those black speckles. But look at it just slowly walking along there. And I'm gonna try to see if I can get it to walk from hand to hand. Now, the reason that these little creatures are so rare is they are very susceptible to pollution. And it's what's considered an indicator species. It gives us a good idea of what the pollution is like in a certain environment. And given the fact that this creature is living in this cave, it's a good chance this water is very healthy. Now, this is a lungless species of salamander, which means that it actually breathes through its skin. Isn't that cool? The salamander does not even have lungs. And you'll notice those little buggy eyes up front, very indicative of many amphibian species. And you may be wondering to yourself, well, we're in a cave, it's completely pitch dark without these lights. Is this a blind salamander species? No, in fact, they can see, and they can see actually rather well in very low light like this. Or I guess it's completely no light. And they use their eyesight to help them hunt for prey. They're eating small invertebrates like baby spiders, mites, worms, anything that's small and crawling around in this cave is fair game. I'm pretty impressed with how this salamander is just staying on the tips of my fingers. Look at that. Let me see if I can kind of turn it up like that so you can see its back. Check that out. Now, normally these salamanders have incredibly long tails. The tail is actually longer than the length of the body. But in this instance, this salamander is missing the tip of its tail. Can you see that? Now, it will grow its tail back. That's called caudal autonomy, something that lizards are also capable of doing. But keep in mind, this is an amphibian and not a reptile like a lizard.
And how rare are these salamanders?
Really pretty rare. In most places, they're considered endangered. And we do have special permits to be in this cave and to be getting the cameras up close and even handling this amphibian. And as you can see, I'm not actually trying to hold onto it. I'm just letting it rest on top of my hand.
This is a fragile ecosystem here.
Oh, incredibly fragile. We actually had to decontaminate our boots and our clothes with a spray before we came into the cave to make sure we didn't bring in any contaminants from the outside forest area. As you notice, I haven't really been touching the walls at all. We've been very careful where we've been stepping.
And of course, we want to just handle this amphibian as gently as possible and for as little time as possible. This little guy is so cool. Well, I would definitely say that that was one epic adventure, traversing through the forest to ultimately find this cave and then coming across one incredibly rare amphibian. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. See you later, little salamander. Throughout parts of its range, the cave salamander is considered an endangered species. Their susceptible nature to environmental pollutants has unfortunately pushed them closer to the brink of extinction. However, it's remote, protected, and healthy ecosystems like this one that have allowed these fragile amphibians to carry on an incredible fight for survival. I feel incredibly fortunate to have seen one of these animals in the wild, and I hope that as conservation efforts continue, maybe one day you will see one too. That is, if you are willing to go deep into a cave to find one. Woo! Ah! That is some cold water right there, but we made it! Oh, it is good to see daylight. If you love animals, make sure to search for the Brave Wilderness channel on YouTube so you can join me and the crew on our next big adventure.